I began by priming the miniature in Chaos Black and then spraying it with Von Evil Purple by 2 thin coats through the airbrush. And I will follow that up with a soft overspray of Enchantress Purple, also by 2 thin coats. This will be useful for our cloak's color, but also setting the mood of the miniature. And as you can see, I've got that stronger purple coat on there. I blue tacked this piece so I could have an easier time painting in this back area. Next, we're going to work with a mixture of Elysium Blue and Enchantress Purple, both by 2 thin coats, and we're going to start applying it to the raised area of the Protoss's skin. We're going to do quite a lot with this coat, and we're going to be applying more blue in the future so that it looks more like Protoss skin, but for now, this purple is pretty important for that mood that I mentioned. We'll follow that up with some Ahriman Blue by Citadel. The color is pretty teal, but it does help us establish that bluer tone that we want. And if you think that it's too strong, feel free to glaze your previous mixture in to blend it back in. But as you can see, I do apply a lot of it, and it gets to be pretty blue, but we will handle that in the next step as well. Next, we're going to work with Wolf Gray by 2 thin coats. And I feel like this color really starts to bring it in line with that Protoss skin color. And this might seem like a lot of steps, but for the troops, you can skip out all the purple stuff, and I think it'll work really well. I just want that purple mood in there specifically for Zeratul because he is a shadowy, cloaky figure. We're going to follow that up with mixing Ice Yellow into our Wolf Gray, and you want to highlight very carefully by making small strokes. Protoss skin is quite textured, so it's okay that it looks a little bumpy as you're painting it. It's not as smooth as human skin, so feel free to have that texture in there. It makes it look really interesting. And then after that, you can just add more Ice Yellow into the mixture and do some final highlights. And like I said earlier, if you want to bring down those highlights because you think they're a bit too much, you can just glaze in some of that Enchantress Purple to bring the tones down. We'll utilize pure white for the eyes, and I find that Procryl Bold Titanium White is the best one out there. Eyes are intimidating. Brace yourself against your desk and get in there. Then we will take fluorescent green and just apply it in there. Don't worry about being too accurate, as anything outside the white can just look like a glow. Next, we're going to start on the gold, and for that I'm going to take 2 thin coats Ancient Gold, which is a desaturated gold. Once again, I want that desaturated gold just because Zeratul is a shadowy color. We might use a stronger, more vivid gold for the troops. To get some warmth in there, we're going to take Luxian Purple Contrast as well as Gorgrunta Fur Contrast and mix them together and apply it as a wash. The Gorgrunta Fur will apply the warmth, while the Luxian Purple will keep it in line with the rest of the model with that purple hue. You can apply it fairly aggressively, as we will reapply the Ancient Gold after this, which is what is being shown here. You don't want to apply it everywhere, you want to keep some of those shadowed areas intact, but rebuild your color as you see fit. We will then highlight with Heirloom Gold by 2 thin coats, which is also a desaturated gold. Apply just a little bit. This will brighten it up and give it a little bit more of that gold tone, but if you go overboard, then it might ruin the look. And then as a final highlight, just add some silver into your Heirloom Gold and touch the tops of those areas where the light might be hitting. When we're done with that, we'll move on to the gemstones, and we're just going to take a black paint and black out all those areas where we want those gems. Following that, I'm going to take Emerald Green by 2 thin coats, which is a dark green, so you won't really see too much as you apply it to the gemstones. Then we will apply Ethereal Green by 2 thin coats. You don't really have to blend it in there, just get some dots in there towards where the light might be hitting. Then we can add ice yellow to that ethereal green and begin to further our highlight. As you get brighter, you want to apply less and less paint. At this point, the contrast is going to do a lot of heavy lifting. And to further highlight, just add more ice yellow to that ethereal green and apply small dots into the gemstones. And then to bring it all together, we're going to take Warp Lightning Contrast Paint, thin it down to a glaze, and just apply it all over the gem except for your brightest highlights. Don't hit those because you don't want to ruin that bright dot. For the hair, we're going to take black and mix it in with Incubus Purple by 2 thin coats and just apply it all over as a base color. Once we have that base coat down, we can take pure Incubus Purple and just apply it on each individual braid. Take your time, but don't worry if you're too messy because that will be corrected in a future step. And we will highlight with Enticing Purple by 2 thin coats, and we're just going to hit the top braids of that hair. This will let those bottom braids be an easy and natural shadow for some good contrast. I followed all of that up with a black wash, but I think I overdid it. So when you apply this, just to kind of bind it all together, water it down a little bit and thin it so it's not so heavy. To start on his cloth straps, we're going to take Scorched Earth by 2 thin coats for our base color. Apply it over the majority, but you can leave some of that bottom area purple just for an easy natural shadow. After that, I will take Wasteland Brown by 2 thin coats and start to highlight the upper part and then the lower part. And then after that, we can add some little bits of texture by making some streaks or dots. Then we'll highlight with Temple Stone by 2 thin coats, and we'll do some fine lines for this. Which we'll continue to highlight by adding ice yellow and just applying very careful, small amounts to the top ends of those straps. We're done with all of those smaller details, so I glued the cape back on. And then we can start to glaze in Von Evil Purple towards the shadows of the cape and face mask. For the next bit, I'm only going to be showing work on the face mask and a little bit of other places, but I'm going to be doing it all over for the cape as well. Once the glazing is complete, we can rebuild our purple by just applying that Enchantress Purple in those areas that you want brighter. We will continue highlighting with Spectral Purple by 2 thin coats, which is a saturated purple, which is going to be kind of contrasting towards the purples we already applied, but it's going to work out great as this is the color we really want. And as you might expect, we're going to be adding some ice yellow in to brighten it as our next highlight step. Ice yellow does a great job brightening a color without losing the saturation like adding white might. Next, I'm going to add Runic Purple by 2 thin coats into that previous mixture and do some more highlighting. This color will actually desaturate it a little bit, which will provide an interesting contrast to make that face mask really pop. But to make that contrast pop, we want to add very little of it. And then for a final highlight, just take Runic Purple, add Ice Yellow, and add some small dots. I hate OSL, but we're going to do an OSL effect by taking Fluorescent Green and just airbrushing it onto the cape where that blade is shining. I don't think this will work with a sponge, but you could give it a try. And then to start on the blade, we're just going to take our pure white and apply it over the entirety of the blade. After that, we'll take Warp Lightning Green Contrast and just apply it onto the blade, focusing our strokes towards the outer edges of the blade. It looks pretty cool, but we're going to be using a lot more technique to bring out the shine in this. And then for that, we're going to take our pure white again and just paint it towards the interior of the energy. And then we're going to get back in there with that airbrush and that fluorescent green and spray it onto those white areas and a little bit of that warp lightning area as well. And we can finish up that blade by reapplying that warp lightning contrast on the edges. And with that, Zeratul is complete, and I will be honest, this model is super, super cool. I will admit I'm not the biggest StarCraft buff. I played the original games as a kid, but I never even touched StarCraft 2. So I wasn't that excited for this miniature game until I got this mini, and it is so cool that I'm like really hyped for this game. And I'm going to Adepticon, and I will probably be picking up both of the starter sets. So do expect more StarCraft content in the future. If you liked it, subscribe so you don't miss that. Make sure you comment and like the video. I appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one.